Successful but empty inside? Stanford professors Bill Burnett and Dave Evans discovered the secret method Apple and Google use to create breakthrough products, now applied to designing your dream life in their book, Designing Your Life, by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. Here's the shocking truth. You don't need to find your passion. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need 5 simple design mindsets that transform anyone from stuck to thriving. In this video, discover the 3 life plans technique, prototyping secrets that eliminate career mistakes, and 1 dashboard showing exactly where to focus for maximum life satisfaction. Thousands escaped boring careers using this method. Your transformation starts now. Chapter 1. The Design Thinking Approach to Life. What is life design? Most people approach life like it is a problem to be solved. They believe there is one perfect career, one ideal life path, and their job is to figure out what it is. When they cannot find this perfect answer, they feel stuck and frustrated. But life design takes a completely different approach. Life is a process and not an outcome. Instead of trying to solve your life like a math equation, you design it like an architect designs a building, through exploration, experimentation, and iteration. Designers know that the first idea is rarely the best idea. They create multiple prototypes, test them in the real world, get feedback, and improve. They embrace failure as learning. They stay curious and open to possibilities they had not considered before. This same mindset can transform how you approach your career and life decisions. Instead of trying to plan your entire future, you design your way forward step by step. The 5 design mindsets. The authors identify 5 key mindsets that successful designers use, and these same mindsets are essential for designing your life effectively. The first mindset is curiosity. Designers are genuinely interested in understanding problems deeply before trying to solve them. In life design, this means getting curious about yourself, your values, what energizes you, and what drains you. Instead of judging your current situation, you explore it with genuine interest. The second mindset is bias to action. Designers do not just think about solutions, they build and test them. In life design, this means trying things rather than just thinking about them. Want to know if you would enjoy a different career? Find ways to experience it, rather than just researching it online. The third mindset is reframing. Designers are experts at looking at problems from different angles. When they get stuck, they ask better questions. In life design, reframing helps you escape limiting beliefs and see new possibilities you might have missed. The fourth mindset is awareness. Good designers pay attention to their process, what works, what does not, and how they respond to different situations. In life design, this means developing self-awareness about your patterns, preferences, and reactions. The fifth mindset is radical collaboration. Designers rarely work alone. They involve users, teammates, and stakeholders in the design process. In life design, this means building a community of support and getting input from others as you navigate important decisions. These 5 mindsets create the foundation for everything else in the life design process. They shift you from being passive about your life to being active and intentional about creating the experiences you want. Why traditional career advice falls short. Before diving into the life design process, it is important to understand why traditional career advice often leaves people feeling frustrated and stuck. The biggest myth is that you should follow your passion. While passion can be motivating, research shows that most people do not have a single, clear passion waiting to be discovered. Passion is often developed through mastery and meaning, not found through introspection alone. Another limiting belief is that there is one perfect career out there for you. This creates enormous pressure to make the right choice and paralyzes people with fear of making the wrong one. The reality is that there are multiple paths that could lead to fulfillment, and the key is to start moving forward rather than waiting for certainty. The third dysfunctional belief is that success equals happiness. Many people climb the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Achievement without alignment to your values leads to emptiness, not fulfillment. Life design offers a better approach. Instead of trying to find your one true calling, you explore multiple possibilities. Instead of demanding certainty before taking action, you experiment your way forward. Instead of defining success by external measures, you create your own definition based on what matters most to you. Chapter 2. Building your compass. Understanding your work-view. Before you can design your ideal life, you need to understand what you currently believe about life and work. Your work view and life view serve as your compass, helping you navigate decisions and stay aligned with what matters most to you. Your work view reflects your relationship with work. What does work mean to you? What defines meaningful work? This is not about what job you want, but about why you work and what role work should play in your life. Some people see work primarily as a way to make money so they can enjoy the rest of their life. Others view work as a calling, something they feel drawn to do regardless of external rewards. Still others see work as a way to contribute to society and make a difference in the world. None of these perspectives is right or wrong, but understanding your work view is crucial for making career decisions that align with your values. If you believe work should be meaningful and fulfilling, taking a high-paying job that feels empty will leave you dissatisfied. If you see work primarily as a means to support your life outside work, you might be perfectly happy with a job that pays well, even if it is not your passion. To clarify your work view, ask yourself these questions. Why do you work? What makes work meaningful to you? What role should work play in your life? How does work relate to your family, community, and personal growth? What defines good work? Write out your answers in detail. Do not worry about whether your work view is sophisticated or matches what others expect. The goal is to understand your own authentic perspective on work and career. Developing your life view. Your life view is simply your ideas about the world and how it works. It encompasses your beliefs about what makes life meaningful, what happens after death, what role suffering plays in human experience, and what responsibilities we have to others. Your life view might be rooted in religious beliefs, philosophical principles, or personal experience. Some people believe the purpose of life is to minimize suffering and maximize happiness. Others believe we are here to serve others and make a positive impact. Still others believe life has no inherent meaning beyond what we create for ourselves. Again, there are no right or wrong answers. The important thing is to articulate what you actually believe, not what you think you should believe or what others around you believe. To develop your life view, consider these questions. What is the meaning or purpose of life? What happens after we die? Why do we suffer? And what role does suffering play in life? What is your responsibility to others? What defines a life well lived? Take time to write out your thoughts on these big questions. Your life view does not need to be complete or perfectly consistent. It just needs to reflect your current best understanding of what life is about. Creating coherence between work view and life view. Once you have articulated your work view and life view, the next step is to examine how well they align with each other and with how you are currently living your life. Coherency is about living a life so that who you are, what you believe, and what you are doing are consistent. When your daily actions align with your deeper beliefs about work and life, you experience a sense of authenticity and purpose. When there are misalignments, you feel internal tension and dissatisfaction. Look at your work view and life view side by side. Where do they complement each other? Where do they conflict? For example, if your life view emphasizes the importance of family and relationships, but your work view prioritizes career advancement above all else, you may experience ongoing internal conflict. Also examine how your current life aligns with both your work view and life view. Are you living in a way that reflects your beliefs about what makes work meaningful and life worthwhile? If not, where are the biggest gaps? This analysis is not meant to make you feel guilty about inconsistencies. Everyone has some degree of misalignment between their ideals and reality. The goal is to identify areas where better better alignment could increase your sense of purpose and satisfaction. Sometimes the solution is to change your life to better match your beliefs. Other times you might discover that your beliefs have evolved and need updating. The key is to make these alignments conscious and intentional, rather than letting them happen by default. Use this coherence analysis as a foundation for the design work ahead. When you are clear about your core beliefs and how well your current life reflects them, you can make more intentional choices about what to change and what to keep as you design your future. The Life Dashboard and Good Time Journal. Creating your life dashboard. Before you can improve your life, you need an honest assessment of where you currently stand. The Life Dashboard helps you focus on what changes by rating your satisfaction in 4 areas: health, work, joy, and relationships. Health encompasses your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. This includes not just the absence of illness, but your energy levels, stress management, exercise habits, nutrition, sleep quality, and overall vitality. Rate your current health satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10. Work includes both paid and unpaid activities that contribute value to the world. This could be your career, volunteer work, parenting, or creative projects. The question is not whether you love every moment of your work, but whether your work feels meaningful and engaging overall. Rate your work satisfaction on the same scale. Joy represents fun, relaxation, and activities that bring you happiness. This could include hobbies, entertainment, travel, time in nature, or simply moments of contentment and peace. Many busy people neglect this area, but joy is essential for a well-designed life. Rate your current joy level. Relationships covers your connections with family, friends, romantic partners, colleagues, and community. Strong relationships are one of the strongest predictors of life satisfaction, yet they require ongoing attention and investment. Rate your relationship satisfaction. Once you have rated each area, you have a visual snapshot of your current life. Areas with low scores are potential focus areas for improvement, but do not try to improve everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 areas that feel most important, or where small changes could have the biggest impact. The dashboard is not about achieving perfect 10s in every area. Life involves trade-offs, and sometimes focusing on one area requires temporarily accepting lower satisfaction in another. The goal is conscious choice about these trade-offs rather than letting them happen by accident. Update your dashboard regularly, perhaps monthly or quarterly. This helps you track progress and notice patterns over time. You might discover that your work satisfaction improves during certain seasons, or that your health scores correlate with your stress levels. The Good Time Journal technique. The Good Time Journal asks you to log activities and your energy levels to identify patterns about what energizes you and what drains you. This simple tool provides crucial data for designing a life that aligns with your natural rhythms and preferences. For 1 week, track your activities and energy levels throughout the day. Every few hours, write down what you were doing and rate your energy and engagement on a simple scale. Were you energized or drained? Were you fully engaged or just going through the motions? Pay attention to both the activities themselves and the context around them. You might love strategic thinking, but hate doing it in long, uninterrupted stretches. You might enjoy meetings with certain types of people, but find other meetings exhausting. You might be energized by creative work in the morning, but find it draining in the afternoon. Look for patterns in your data. What types of activities consistently energize you? What consistently drains you? When are your natural energy peaks and valleys during the day? What environments support your best work? Also notice the people factor. Which relationships and interactions leave you feeling positive and energized? Which ones deplete your energy? This information is crucial for making decisions about everything from career choices to social commitments. Use this data to make small experiments in your current life. Can you do more energizing activities and fewer draining ones? Can you schedule demanding tasks during your natural energy peaks? Can you change the context around necessary necessary but draining activities to make them more tolerable. The Good Time Journal is particularly helpful for people who feel stuck but cannot articulate exactly what needs to change. Often the answer is not a complete life overhaul, but rather subtle shifts toward more of what energizes you and less of what drains you. Remember that energy patterns can change over time, so repeat this exercise periodically. What energized you in your 20s might drain you in your 40s, and what felt overwhelming at one stage of life might feel perfectly manageable at another. Chapter 4. Ideation and Generating Options. Moving Beyond. What do you want to be when you grow up? One of the biggest obstacles to designing your life is the limiting question we have all been asked since childhood. What do you want to be when you grow up? This question assumes there is one perfect career waiting to be discovered, and that you should know what it is. Takes a different approach. Instead of trying to identify the one perfect career, you generate multiple possibilities and explore them systematically. Instead of asking what you want to be, you ask what kinds of experiences you want to have and what kinds of problems you want to help solve. This shift from singular to plural thinking is liberating. It removes the pressure to find the right answer and creates space for experimentation and discovery. It also acknowledges the reality that most people will have multiple careers and phases throughout their working lives. The goal of ideation is not to immediately find your perfect career, but to expand your thinking about what might be possible. Many people limit their options before they have even fully explored them. They dismiss possibilities because they seem unrealistic, require too much change, or do not match their current skills. During the ideation phase, suspend judgment and focus on quantity over quality. The time for evaluation comes later. Right now, the goal is to break out of habitual thinking patterns and consider options you might not have seriously considered before. Mind mapping your interests. One effective ideation technique is mind mapping around your interests, values, and natural talents. Start with broad categories and then branch out into more specific applications. Begin by listing your core interests. These might be subjects you enjoyed in school, topics you read about in your free time, or activities you find yourself naturally drawn to. Do not limit yourself to things you have professional experience with. From each interest, draw branches to potential careers or applications. If you are interested in psychology, branches might include therapy, research, organizational consulting, user experience design, or writing about human behavior. If you love food, branches might include cooking, restaurant management, food writing, nutrition counseling, or food photography. Keep branching until you have exhausted possibilities for each interest area. Then look for connections between different branches. Sometimes the most interesting opportunities exist at the intersection of multiple interests. Next, consider your values and what kinds of impact you want to have in the world. Do you want to help individuals solve problems, improve systems and organizations, create beautiful things, or advance human knowledge? Different careers offer different types of impact, and understanding what motivates you helps narrow your focus. Finally, think about your natural talents and strengths. What do people consistently tell you that you are good at? What feels effortless to you but difficult for others? What kinds of problems do friends and family bring to you for help? The intersection of interests, values, and strengths often points toward fulfilling career possibilities. But remember that this is just one ideation technique. The goal is to generate options, not to find the perfect answer through analysis alone. 3 alternative life plans. One of the most powerful exercises in the book is creating 3 different 5-year life plans. This exercise helps you move beyond the assumption that there is only one viable path forward and opens up creative possibilities you might not otherwise consider. Plan 1 is your current path optimized. If you stayed in your current career or life direction but made it as good as possible, what would that look like? Maybe you would get promoted, develop new skills, move to a better company, or find ways to make your current work more meaningful. This plan assumes your fundamental direction is right, but needs refinement. Plan 2 is what you would do if your current path suddenly disappeared. If your industry was eliminated, your company went out of business, Or you could no longer do your current work for health reasons. What would you do instead? This forces you to think beyond incremental changes to more significant pivots. Plan 3 is what you would do if money were no object and you had no fear of judgment from others. If you had unlimited resources and knew you could not fail, what would you choose to do with your life? This plan helps you access dreams and aspirations that you might have dismissed as impractical. For each plan, be specific about what your daily life would look like, where you would live, what kind of work you would do, who you would spend time with, and what you would do for fun. Make each plan detailed enough that you can actually imagine living it. The purpose is not to choose one of these 3 plans and pursue it exclusively. Instead, these plans help you understand the range of possibilities available to you and identify elements from each that could be incorporated into your actual life design. Discover that Plan 1 needs more elements of adventure from Plan 3, or that Plan 2 contains career possibilities you had not seriously considered. Sometimes the best path forward combines elements from all 3 plans in creative ways. This exercise also reveals your assumptions and limitations. If Plan 3 feels completely impossible to imagine, you might be more constrained by limiting beliefs than by actual practical constraints. If Plans 2 and 3 feel almost identical to Plan 1, you might not be thinking creatively enough about alternatives. Chapter 5. Prototyping Your Way Forward. The Power of Prototyping in Life Design. In product design, prototypes are rough, early versions of a solution that allow designers to test ideas before investing significant time and resources in building the final product. Life design applies the same principle to career and life decisions. Instead of trying to plan your perfect life on paper and then executing that plan, you create small experiments that let you test possibilities in the real world. These prototypes provide actual experience rather than just imagination about what a particular path might be like. There are 3 types of prototypes you can use in life design. Life design interviews are conversations with people who are living the kind of life you think you might want. Shadow experiences involve spending time observing someone in their actual work environment. Volunteer or part-time experiences let you actually try out aspects of a potential new direction. The key to effective prototyping is to start small and build gradually. You do not need to quit your job and go back to school to test whether you might enjoy a different career. You can start with conversations, then move to short-term experiences, and only make larger commitments once you have real data about whether a direction feels right. Prototyping also helps you fail quickly and cheaply. Instead of spending years pursuing a path that turns out to be wrong for you, prototyping lets you discover mismatches early when course corrections are easier and less costly. Many people resist prototyping because they want certainty before taking action. But certainty comes through experience, not through thinking. Prototyping gives you the experience you need to make more informed decisions about your future. Life design interviews. Life design. Interviews are structured conversations with people who are currently doing work or living lives that interest you. These interviews provide insider perspectives that you cannot get from job descriptions or online research. The goal is not to ask for a job or to network for professional advantage. Instead, you are conducting research to understand what a particular path is really like from someone who has lived it. This takes the pressure off the conversation and makes people more willing to share honestly. Start by identifying people to interview. These might be people in your existing network, or you might need to reach out to strangers through professional associations, alumni networks, or social media. Most people are surprisingly willing to share their experiences if you approach them respectfully and make the conversation easy for them. Prepare thoughtful questions that go beyond basic information you could find online. Ask about their typical day, what they find most and least enjoyable about their work, how they got started, what skills are most important, and what they wish they had known before starting. Also ask about the broader context of their life. How does their work affect their family time, stress levels, and other priorities? What are the financial realities of their field? What trends do they see affecting their industry? Listen for both the content of what they share and the energy behind it. Someone might describe their work positively but seem drained when talking about it, or they might acknowledge challenges but clearly feel energized by what they do. After each interview, reflect on what you learned and how it matches or contradicts your assumptions about that path. Sometimes interviews confirm that a direction is worth exploring further. Other times, they help you eliminate options before investing more time in them. Keep track of your interviews and look for patterns across conversations. If multiple people in a field mention the same challenges or requirements, pay attention. These patterns provide valuable data for your life design decisions. Shadow experiences and experiments. While interviews provide valuable perspectives, nothing beats direct experience for understanding what a particular path is really like. Shadow experiences and small experiments let you test possibilities with minimal risk and commitment. Shadow experiences involve spending time with someone during their actual work. This might mean following a teacher for a day to see what classroom management really involves, or sitting in on client meetings with a consultant to understand how they add value. Most professionals are open to having someone shadow them for a few hours or a day, especially if you approach it as learning rather than evaluation. Be respectful of their time and the confidentiality requirements of their work, but do not be afraid to ask for this kind of access. Small experiments involve actually trying aspects of a potential new direction. This might mean volunteering for a nonprofit to see if you enjoy the mission-driven work environment, taking on freelance projects to test consulting skills, or teaching a workshop to see if you like educational work. The key is to design experiments that give you real experience with the core aspects of what you are considering. If you think you want to be a writer, start writing and try to get published rather than just thinking about writing. If you are considering entrepreneurship, start a small side business rather than just reading about business strategy. Look for ways to experiment within your current situation before making major changes. Can you volunteer for projects at work that let you try new skills? Can you join boards or organizations that give you experience with leadership? Can you start creative projects in your spare time? Document your experiences during these experiments. What did you enjoy? What was harder than expected? What skills came naturally? And what felt like a struggle? How did the reality compare to your expectations? Use this data to refine your direction and design better experiments. If you enjoyed certain aspects of an experience but not others, look for variations that might be a better fit. If an experiment revealed missing skills, focus your next experiments on developing those capabilities. Remember that no single experiment will give you complete information about a path. Plan a series of experiments that build on each other and provide increasingly detailed data about whether a direction is worth pursuing further. Chapter 6. Making Decisions and Moving Forward. The choosing process. After generating options and prototyping possibilities, you eventually need to make decisions about which direction to pursue. The choosing process in life design is different from traditional decision-making approaches that rely primarily on analysis and pros and cons lists. First, eliminate options that are clearly not viable. These might be possibilities that your prototyping revealed to be poor fits, options that conflict significantly with your work view and life view, or paths that require resources or changes you are not willing or able to make. Next, avoid choosing between fundamentally different types of options. If you are torn between staying in corporate consulting and becoming an elementary school teacher, these represent such different life directions that direct comparison is difficult and not particularly useful. Instead, focus on choosing between variations within a direction that feels generally right. Once you have identified a broad direction that aligns with your interests, values, and prototyping results, you can meaningfully compare specific opportunities within that direction. Use a combination of rational analysis and intuitive response in your choosing. The rational analysis should consider practical factors like financial requirements, family impact, skill development opportunities, and long-term career prospects. But also pay attention to your emotional and physical response to different options. Which possibilities energize you when you think about them? Which ones make you feel heavy or anxious? Your body often knows things your mind has not yet figured out. Consider getting input from people who know you well and whose judgment you trust. Sometimes others can see patterns and possibilities that are difficult for us to see in ourselves. But remember that the final choice needs to be yours, not what others think would be best for you. Overcoming choice paralysis. Many people get stuck in the choosing phase because they are waiting for perfect information or the guarantee of a good outcome. But life design is about moving forward in the face of uncertainty, not waiting for certainty that will never come. Remember that choosing one path does not mean you are locked into that path forever. Most life and career decisions are reversible or modifiable. You can try something, learn from the experience, and adjust course if needed. This removes some of the pressure from making the right choice. Set a deadline for making your decision. Without a deadline, you can spend months or years cycling through analysis without ever committing to a reasonable time frame that gives you adequate information gathering opportunity, but forces you to eventually decide. Accept that any choice involves trade-offs. No option will be perfect or give you everything you want. The question is not whether a choice has downsides, but whether the upsides are worth the downsides, and whether the trade-offs align with your current priorities. Focus on choosing well rather than choosing perfectly. A choice made with good process, adequate information, and alignment with your values is a good choice, regardless of how it turns out. You cannot control outcomes, but you can control the quality of your decision-making process. Sometimes the right choice is to choose a direction for now rather than forever. You might decide to try something for 2 years with the explicit understanding that you will reevaluate at that point. This makes the decision feel less permanent and reduces the pressure to get it exactly right. Once you have made a choice, commit to it fully, rather than constantly second-guessing yourself. Put your energy into making your chosen path successful, rather than wondering whether you should have chosen differently. You can always course-correct later if needed, but divided attention rarely leads to good outcomes. Chapter 7. Building your support system. The importance of community in life design. Life design emphasizes radical collaboration, recognizing that designing a meaningful life is not a solo project. You need input, support, accountability, and encouragement from others throughout the process. Different people can provide different types of support. Some friends are great listeners who help you process your thoughts and feelings. Others are practical problem solvers who can help you think through logistics and obstacles. Still others have networks and experience that can open doors and provide opportunities. Identify the people in your life who are genuinely supportive of your growth and change. These are people who listen without immediately trying to fix or advise, who celebrate your successes without jealousy, and who encourage you to pursue your authentic path even if it is different from what they would choose. Be selective about whom you share your life design process with. Well-meaning friends and family members sometimes project their own fears and limitations onto your situation. If someone consistently responds to your ideas with reasons why they will not work, limit how much you share with them during the exploration phase. Look for people who are also actively designing their lives. These relationships can provide mutual support and accountability. You might form a life design group with friends, join a career transition support group, or find an online community of people working on similar changes. Consider working with a coach, counselor, or mentor who has experience helping people navigate life transitions. Professional support can be particularly valuable when you are making significant changes or working through complex emotional issues related to your life direction. Creating accountability and support. Once you have identified supportive people, be intentional about how you engage them in your life design process. Different types of support serve different purposes, and being clear about what you need helps others know how to help you effectively. For accountability, Find someone who will regularly check in with you about your progress on life design activities. This might be completing prototyping experiments, conducting life design interviews, or taking concrete steps toward a new direction. Having to report your progress to someone else creates positive pressure to follow through on commitments. For perspective and feedback, identify people who can help you see your situation more objectively. Sometimes you need someone to point out patterns you are not seeing, challenge assumptions that might be limiting you, or help you recognize progress you are making. For encouragement, connect with people who believe in your potential and can remind you of your strengths when you are feeling discouraged or uncertain. Life design often involves periods of confusion and self-doubt, and having cheerleaders can help you persist through difficult phases. For practical support, identify people who can provide concrete help with your life design process. This might include introductions to people in fields you are exploring, advice about practical aspects of career change, or help with specific tasks like resume writing or interview preparation. Be willing to reciprocate support for others who are also working on life design. Supporting someone else's growth often helps clarify your own thinking and keeps you connected to a community of people committed to intentional living. Regular check-ins with your support network help maintain momentum and connection. This might be a monthly coffee with an accountability partner, a quarterly call with a mentor, or an annual retreat with a group of friends who are all working on life design. Remember that your support needs may change as your life design process evolves. Someone who is helpful during the exploration phase might not be the right person to support you during implementation. Be willing to adjust your support network as your needs change. Conclusion: the ongoing nature of life design. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a journey to be designed. This perspective fundamentally changes how you approach your career and personal development. Instead of trying to figure everything out once and then execute a perfect plan, you embrace life design as an ongoing practice. Your interests, values, and circumstances will continue to evolve throughout your life. What energizes you at 25 might bore you at 45. What seemed impossible in one phase of life might become achievable in another. Life design helps you stay responsive to these changes rather than being locked into decisions made at an earlier stage. The tools and mindsets you have learned, curiosity, bias to action, reframing, awareness, and collaboration, serve you throughout your life, not just during major transitions. Use them to continuously fine-tune your direction, respond to unexpected opportunities, and navigate challenges that arise. Regular check-ins with your life dashboard, work view, and life view help you stay aligned with what matters most to you. As your life circumstances change, these foundational elements may need updating. What serves you well as a single person might need adjustment when you have a family. What works during the building phase of your career might need modification as you approach retirement. Key takeaways for implementation. Start where you are with what you have. You do not need to wait for perfect conditions or complete clarity to begin designing your life. Use the tools that resonate most with you and begin making small experiments and improvements immediately. Focus on designing your way forward rather than planning your way forward. Planning assumes you can predict the future accurately. Designing assumes you will learn and adjust as you go. This approach is more realistic and less overwhelming than trying to figure out your entire future before taking action. Strive to design lives that align with your life views and work views to create fulfilling lives. Regular attention to this alignment helps ensure that your day-to-day choices support your deeper values and long-term well-being. Embrace experimentation and prototype your way forward. Small experiments provide valuable information with minimal risk. They also build confidence and momentum for larger changes when those become appropriate. Build and maintain your support network. Life design is easier and more effective when you have encouragement, accountability, and practical help from others who believe in your potential and support your growth. The principles in designing your life offer hope to anyone who feels stuck, unfulfilled, or uncertain about their direction. You do not have to accept a life that feels accidental or settle for good enough when something better is possible. The process requires patience with yourself and trust in the design process. There will be periods of uncertainty, experiments that do not work out, and decisions that need to be revised. This is normal and expected, not evidence that you are doing something wrong. A well-designed life is a life that is generative. It is constantly creative, productive, changing, evolving, and there is always the possibility of surprise. This definition moves beyond static notions of success to embrace growth, contribution, and ongoing discovery. Your life is the most important design project you will ever work on. Apply the same care, creativity, and persistence that you would bring to any important project. You deserve a life that feels authentic, meaningful, and aligned with who you are and who you are becoming. The journey of designing your life starts with a single step. Take that step today and trust the process to guide you toward the meaningful, joyful life you want to create.